Have you ever noticed how some people seem to grow their wealth easily, while others work twice as hard but still struggle financially? The truth is, wealthy people follow a financial playbook they rarely talk about, and today, I'm revealing its most important parts. I'll walk you through the 15 worst assets that quietly drain your wealth and keep you stuck in the financial rat race. These aren't just poor investments, they're financial traps disguised as signs of success and smart purchases. Warren Buffett himself has said that many wealthy people didn't get rich by earning more, but by avoiding the exact money-wasting decisions that many Americans make without even thinking. Each of these financial traps is part of a system designed to funnel your money into someone else's hands. Pay close attention to the final one, it's the most sneaky of all, and it might even be parked in your driveway right now. Let's break down these financial time bombs that could be quietly destroying your chance to build real wealth. 1. New cars. Buying a brand new car might feel exciting, especially with that fresh new car smell, but it's one of the fastest ways to lose money. The moment you drive it off the lot, it drops about 15% in value, like throwing away $6,000 before you even get home. Over the next 5 years, it loses more than half its value, so that $40,000 car ends up being worth less than $20,000. And if you financed it, you're still paying as if it's worth full price, plus interest, often bringing the real cost to $50,000 or more. Wealthy people usually avoid this trap. Even Warren Buffett, a billionaire, drove a used Cadillac. They know that cars aren't investments, they're expenses. True wealth comes from owning things that grow in value, not shrink. A smarter move is to buy a car that's 2 to 3 years old with low mileage. A used Toyota Camry or Honda Accord offers almost the same features as a new one, often with some warranty left, and can save you $10,000 to $15,000 instantly. If you must buy a new car, make sure you run the full numbers. That $40,000, if put into an S&P 500 index fund and left for 20 years, could grow into over $186,000. So, ask yourself, is that new car smell really worth giving up that kind of money? And if you think a car is bad for your wallet, wait until you hear about the next financial trap, a vacation investment that turns into a lifelong money drain that's hard to escape. 2. Timeshares. Ever dreamed of owning a little piece of paradise you could visit every year? That's the tempting promise of timeshares, but they're actually one of the worst financial choices you can make. In fact, they shouldn't even be called investments. It starts with a big upfront cost, often around $20,000 or more, but that's just the beginning. What salespeople don't highlight are the yearly maintenance fees, which start around $800 and can climb to $2,000 or more, and you have to pay them whether you use the timeshare or not. When you finally realize it's not worth it and try to sell, you'll face a harsh truth: almost no one wants to buy it. The market is full of owners desperate to get out, often willing to sell for pennies or even pay someone to take over. Robert from Miami learned this the hard way when he tried to sell his Florida timeshare for $15,000 after paying $30,000 just 5 years earlier, and didn't get a single offer. Meanwhile, financially smart people just book places when they travel. They get to pick different destinations, enjoy updated spaces, and avoid any long-term financial commitments. Sites like Airbnb, VRBO, or even discounted hotels often provide better experiences for far less money. If you already own a timeshare and feel stuck, there are companies that can help you exit the contract, but be ready to pay a fee. Prevention is always cheaper than fixing the problem. So before signing anything long-term, ask yourself, does this give me financial freedom or trap me in a long, expensive commitment? By the way, if you're finding this information useful, type "eye-opening" in the comments. It helps the algorithm and lets me know you want more content like this. Now, let's move on to the third wealth trap, where people sacrifice their financial future just to impress strangers. 3. Designer clothes and accessories. Spending $2,000 on a Louis Vuitton bag or $10,000 on a Rolex might make you look successful, but the truth is many people showing off luxury items are actually in debt. They're giving up real financial stability for a short-term image of wealth. It's a strange reality, while people buried in bills flash the latest designer gear, many real millionaires dress simply and live modestly. Mark Zuckerberg wears plain gray t-shirts, and Warren Buffett still lives in the same house he bought in 1958. They know that owning things that make money is way more valuable than just looking rich. And the numbers don't lie. A $500 pair of shoes isn't just $500. If you invested that money in something like the VTI ETF with an 8% return, it could grow into more than $20,300 in 20 years. Buy it on a credit card with 18% interest, and it could end up costing double. This doesn't mean you can't ever buy nice things, it's about when and how much. Wealthy people usually follow the assets first rule, building solid investments before splurging. A good guideline is, if a luxury item costs more than 1% of your total net worth, it's probably too early to buy it. If you love luxury brands, look into smart alternatives like resale sites such as The Real or Vestiaire Collective, where you can get genuine designer items for less. You could also try rental services like Rent the Runway, which let you enjoy high-end fashion without buying. But as wasteful as designer spending can be, at least you're getting a physical item in return. Our next financial trap is even worse. It costs billions every year and gives you absolutely nothing but false hope. 4. Lottery and gambling. Did you know there's a kind of tax people willingly pay even though they have almost no chance of getting anything back? That's the real cost of playing the lottery or gambling, a tax on hope that mostly affects people who can't really afford it. The odds are shocking. You're more likely to get struck by lightning, 1 in 500,000, than to win the Powerball, 1 in 292 million. The average American spends around $400 a year on lottery tickets. That might not sound like much, but if you invested that amount every month into an index fund like VO with an average 8% return, you'd have over $50,000 after 30 years. Sarah from Ohio learned this the hard way after spending more than $15,000 on tickets over 12 years, never winning more than $50. Wealthy people don't waste money chasing nearly impossible odds. They invest in things like businesses, real estate, and the stock market, where the chances of success are much better. They know true wealth comes from smart, steady decisions, not luck. If you like the thrill of gambling, set aside a small, fun money amount, no more than 1 to 2% of your extra income. Or better yet, redirect that habit into investing with apps like Acorns or Robinhood, which are just as easy to use but much more likely to grow your money. But as harmful as gambling can be, at least it drains money slowly. Our next wealth trap is even worse, sucking up your cash at lightning speed, and nearly 40% of Americans are already stuck in it. 5. Credit card debt. That small plastic credit card in your wallet might be the biggest danger to your financial health. With average interest rates around 20% per year, carrying a balance and not paying it off in full turns your card into a money pit that slowly destroys your future wealth. Just $5,000 in debt, if you only make the minimum payments, can take more than 15 years to pay off and cost you over $10,000 in interest, basically doubling the price of everything you bought. Dave from Boston found this out the hard way when his $7,000 in purchases for furniture and electronics ended up costing him over $16,000 after years of minimum payments. The truth is, banks actually want you to pay just the minimum. It's calculated to keep you in debt for as long as possible while they collect massive interest. It's a quiet way of moving your money into the pockets of bank shareholders. But smart people use credit cards differently. They take advantage of perks like cash back, travel rewards, and fraud protection while always paying off the full balance every single month. That way, they turn a potential trap into a money-saving tool. Cards like Chase Freedom or Citi Double Cash can give you 2% or more back on purchases, but only if you never pay interest. Let me ask you, did you already know about these money traps, or is any of this new to you? Drop a comment saying, "Knew it," or "That's new to me." I read every single one and it helps me create better videos for you. Now, if you're already deep in credit card debt, there's still a way out. Use the avalanche method. Focus on paying off the card with the highest interest first while making minimum payments on the others. When that one's paid off, move to the next, creating a snowball effect. Tools like unknowingly or Tiller Money can help you stay on track and motivated. While credit card debt might seem like an obvious trap, our next financial mistake is trickier. It looks like a path to success but can turn into a lifelong financial burden millions of Americans are still paying off decades later. 6. Expensive and useless degrees. The old advice to go to college and get a good job is becoming more outdated, especially now that the average cost of a 4-year degree is over $100,000. Many students are graduating with massive debt but no job guarantee. The average student loan debt in the U.S. is around $37,000 per person, and some graduates in certain fields owe more than $100,000. The big issue is that depending on your degree, your starting salary may be too low to realistically pay back that debt. Jennifer, for example, earned a degree in visual arts with $60,000 in student loans, but her first job paid just $32,000 a year, and 5 years later, she still owed more than when she started. The real problem isn't education itself, but the mismatch between what it costs and what it returns. Financially smart people always look at ROI, return on investment, and ask important questions like, will this degree truly boost my income? Is there a cheaper way into this field? Can I learn these skills elsewhere for less? More affordable options are growing fast. Certifications in fields like IT, coding, or data analysis often cost less than $10,000 and can lead to starting salaries of $60,000 or more. Community colleges offer the first 2 years of school at a much lower price than 4-year universities, and online platforms like Coursera, edX, and LinkedIn Learning provide great courses for just a few $100s. If you're thinking about college, do your research. Websites like PayScale and the Bureau of Labor Statistics can show average salaries based on careers and degrees. Compare schools, look into starting at a community college, and explore scholarships, federal aid, or even employer-paid tuition programs to cut costs. At least with education, you're investing in your skills and future. But our next financial trap is even harder to understand: people spending huge amounts on things they barely use, that lose value fast, and often add more stress and work to their lives. 7. Boats and luxury items. There's an old joke among boat owners: the 2 best days are the day they buy the boat and the day they sell it. Behind that joke is a hard financial truth: boats, vacation homes, and other luxury toys often turn out to be money pits disguised as symbols of success. The real cost goes far beyond the price tag. A $50,000 boat, for example, can cost another $5,000 to $10,000 each year just for maintenance, insurance, storage, fuel, and repairs. Even worse, most of these luxury items are barely used. Mike from Tampa learned this the hard way. He bought his dream boat for $65,000 but only used it 8 days a year, which ended up costing him nearly $2,000 per day. Financially smart people handle it differently: they rent luxury instead of owning it. Why drop $50,000 on a boat when you can rent one for $400 to $600 on the rare days you actually want to use it? Apps like Get My Boat, Boat Setter, and Freedom Boat Club let you enjoy the experience without the financial burden. The math doesn't lie: owning a $50,000 boat with $5,000 in yearly costs over 10 years adds up to $100,000. If that money had been invested in an ETF earning 8% a year, it would grow to about $215,000. So, the real question becomes: are a few days on the lake worth giving up $115,000 of your future? If you really love exclusive experiences, follow the 5% rule. If the yearly upkeep of a luxury item is more than 5% of your after-tax income, you probably can't afford it. Also consider options like shared ownership or membership clubs, which give you access without the full cost of owning. Now, if buying flashy toys that lose value quickly seems like a bad move, the next financial trap is even trickier. It's sold as protection and an investment, but it delivers poorly on both fronts while making someone else incredibly rich. 8. Whole life insurance. Whole life insurance is often sold as both protection and an investment, but in reality, it does a poor job at both and ends up being slow and expensive. What agents don't always tell you is that it combines overpriced life insurance with a low-performing investment. For example, a 45-year-old man wanting $500,000 in coverage could pay just $400 a year for a 20-year term life policy, but a whole life policy could cost $4,000 a year for the same coverage. That's a $3,600 difference each year, money that could be growing in better investments. Whole life policies are also very inefficient at building value in the early years. Most of your payments go to fees and commissions. After 10 years, you might pay $40,000 in premiums and have only $30,000 saved. James from Ohio found this out the hard way when he cashed out after 8 years and got back less than he had paid in, while his agent made thousands in commissions during the first year alone. Smart people take a better route. They buy term life insurance for the years when protection really matters, like when they have kids or a mortgage, and invest the rest in things with better returns, like index funds, VTI or VO, or retirement accounts, 401k, IRA. If you already have a whole life policy and are reconsidering, there are ways to improve your situation. You might be able to do a partial surrender, take a policy loan, or switch through a 1035 exchange to something more efficient. Be sure to talk to a fee-only financial planner who won't make money off commissions so you get honest advice. We've already talked about several expensive money traps, but the next one might be affecting you right now. It's a repeating expense pushed by some of the world's most powerful marketing, convincing people to keep replacing things that still work just fine with barely noticeable upgrades. 9 expensive gadgets. That new iPhone sure looks tempting, with its slightly better camera and faster processor than last year's model, but here's the truth tech companies hope you ignore: the actual difference in user experience between new and previous models is usually too small to justify the $1,000 plus upgrade. These companies, Apple, Samsung, and others, have mastered a marketing strategy called perceived obsolescence, which means they don't need your old phone to break, they just want you to feel like it's outdated. And many of us fall for it again and again. The numbers are shocking. Upgrading your phone every year can cost more than $12,000 over a decade, while keeping your device for 3 to 4 years could save you $6,000 to $8,000. Robert from Denver did the math and found he had spent over $14,000 on iPhones in the past 10 years, money that, if invested in an index fund, could have grown to over $20,000. Smart people follow a different path. They only upgrade when the device no longer meets their real needs, not just because something new came out. Warren Buffett used the same flip phone for years while building a billion-dollar empire. It's not about avoiding technology, but using it wisely instead of emotionally. When it really is time to upgrade, look at smarter options. The previous year's model often has a 30 to 40% discount, and certified refurbished phones come with warranties at a much lower price. For computers, a simple upgrade like adding more RAM or a new SSD can extend its life for just $100 to $200 instead of dropping $1,500 on a new machine. Let me ask, have these financial traps we've discussed so far been things you already knew, or are some of them surprising? Drop a quick comment saying, "Knew it," or "That's new to me." I read every one, and it helps me keep creating better content for you. Now let's move on to our final wealth destroyer, one that feels like the happiest purchase of your life, but often leaves couples starting their journey in debt that lasts for years. Let's take a look at how the wedding industry convinced millions to spend a fortune on just one day. 10. Expensive weddings. Your wedding day may be one of the most special moments of your life, but it doesn't need to be the most expensive. With the average wedding in the US now costing over $30,000, many couples start married life already deep in debt, giving up years of financial security for just a few hours of celebration. The pressure to go big is everywhere. Magazines, TV shows, and social media all push the idea that a wedding has to be huge and glamorous to be meaningful. But the truth is, spending more doesn't lead to a happier or longer marriage. In fact, studies show that couples who spend less on their weddings are more likely to stay together. Jennifer and Michael from Boston chose a small $5,000 ceremony and used the $25,000 they saved as a down payment on their first home, a smart move that gained value over 5 years. The real issue isn't celebrating your love, it's sacrificing your financial future for one day. If that $30,000 were invested at age 30 for retirement, earning an 8% return annually, it could grow to more than $450,000 by age 65. Is it really worth giving up nearly $500,000 for some flowers and a DJ? More and more smart couples are rethinking what a great wedding looks like. They focus on meaning, not flash, choosing experiences over excess. Holding the wedding on a weekday, using unique venues like parks or museums, sending digital invites, and keeping decorations simple can easily cut your cost in half while still making it unforgettable. If you're planning your big day, set a clear budget before you start making decisions. The key rule is this: don't spend more than you can afford in cash without hurting your long-term financial plans. Free tools on apps like Zola and Wedding Wire can help you build and stick to a wedding budget that makes sense. 11. Expensive gym memberships. Paying for a pricey gym membership might seem like a smart investment in your health, but for many people, it's just wasted money. According to studies, nearly 67% of gym memberships go unused after just a few months. You could be paying $50, $100, or even more every month for a membership that barely gets used, meaning you're throwing away thousands of dollars each year on a service you don't actually take advantage of. The real cost isn't just the monthly fee, it's also the missed opportunity to use that money elsewhere, like investing it or spending it on activities you actually enjoy. Wealthy people understand that staying healthy doesn't require expensive memberships. They find ways to exercise that fit their lifestyle and budget, like jogging outside, home workouts, or using affordable classes only when needed. If you want to keep a gym membership, make sure you're actually going regularly, or choose pay-as-you-go options or community centers that cost less. Don't let unused gym fees quietly drain your wealth year after year. 12. Buying extended warranties or protection plans on electronics, appliances, and other products might seem like a safe bet, but most of the time, they end up being a costly mistake. These plans often add 10% to 20% or more to the purchase price, yet many people never use them. Most new products come with manufacturer warranties that cover defects for at least a year, and repairs outside of warranty often don't cost as much as the extended plan price anyway. Plus, some credit cards already offer built-in protection and extended warranties when you buy with them. Financially smart people usually skip these extras, save that money, and only repair or replace items if and when it's truly needed. Instead of spending hundreds or even thousands on protection plans, putting that money into investments or emergency savings provides much better long-term value. Before buying an extended warranty, read the fine print carefully and calculate if it really makes financial sense for you. 13. Trendy home renovations. Spending big money on the latest home renovation trends might feel exciting, but many times these upgrades don't increase your home's value enough to cover their cost. Things like overly customized designs, expensive smart home gadgets, or luxury finishes that only appeal to a small group of buyers can end up being a money pit. Plus, if you borrow money or use credit to pay for these projects, the interest adds up, making the real cost even higher. Savvy homeowners focus on improvements that provide good returns, like kitchen and bathroom updates, fresh paint, or landscaping, that appeal to most buyers and improve your quality of life without breaking the bank. Before starting any renovation, research how much value it will add to your home and avoid spending more than you're likely to get back. Otherwise, you could be sinking money into features that won't help you build wealth and might even cost you when it's time to sell. 14. High-interest payday loans. Payday loans might seem like a quick fix when you need cash fast, but they're one of the most dangerous financial traps out there. These short-term loans often come with interest rates of 300% or more, which can trap borrowers in a cycle of debt that's almost impossible to escape. Many people take out a payday loan to cover a small emergency, but by the time they pay the fees and interest, they owe much more than they borrowed. Instead of solving problems, payday loans make your financial situation worse and destroy your chances of building wealth. Financially smart people avoid payday loans entirely, choosing safer options like emergency savings, negotiating with creditors, or borrowing from family or friends when truly necessary. If you're tempted by a payday loan, look for local nonprofit credit counseling services or explore lower-cost alternatives before making a decision that could cost you dearly. 15. Luxury watches. Buying expensive luxury watches might seem like a smart investment or a symbol of success, but most of them lose value fast after purchase. Unlike classic or rare models that can appreciate over time, many luxury watches drop significantly in price once they leave the store. This means you're spending tens of thousands on something that won't build your wealth but will just sit on your wrist or in a safe, losing value. Wealthy people often avoid buying flashy watches as investments and instead focus on assets that grow or generate income, like stocks, real estate, or businesses. If you want a nice watch, it's better to buy one that fits your budget and holds personal value, not one you expect to increase your net worth. If you found this video useful, be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to not miss our future uploads. See you in the next video.